I don't remember too much in regards to why you suddenly had a urge to start creating media videos.
Because we both had a terrible
Yeah, yeah.
we both had simultaneously awful trips with women that we really cared about. I mean, I'm talking about at the exact same time. Literally, I went on a cruise. He went to where you were, right? You went there. Your background, didn't you? California?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at you. Look at that prophetic.
That was not planned.
I'm slightly ashamed of this project.
Vibe presents A Friend with Issues.
And welcome back to another episode of A Friend with Issues. Today with me is a sibling, familial mentality, Christopher here, my brother, the oldest of the youngest, because I'm the oldest, because I rock. So Christopher, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. What's going on?
What's going on, big bro?
So how do we know each other?
How do we know each other? Well,
I ask this question to every one of my guests, so I might as well just ask the same thing.
I mean, other than the fact that you popped out first and I popped out afterwards.
We have a common vaginal origins, basically.
Yes. We've cleared what kind of language I can use on this podcast.
This is a friend with issues where no topic is too inappropriate in this particular podcast. We continue with the A Friend with Issues limited series where I bring on one friend every episode to discuss a topic that they want to gripe about, that really grinds their gears, that makes their ass itch. Christopher, what brings us here today?
You know, there's a ton of things that we could talk about, but I think the most controversial one that would be pretty fun to dive deep into,
besides our vaginal origins.
Besides that origin,
yes,
would be the origins of Vibe Studios.
Wait. Okay. Well, okay, but what part of the origin of Vibe Studios makes your ass itch? That's the question. That's what we're here for, is you're discussing an issue. So what is the issue of the origins of this wonderful studio that makes your ass itch?
Oh, we can talk about where it was, what it became, what it is now, and where our two paths diverged when it came to Vibe Studios itself.
Okay, so your ass itched about what that made the paths diverge?
That the paths diverged.
Okay, fine. So we're discussing the itchy divergence of the original creators of Vibe Revelation Studios, and it is true. My bro here was the original partner with Vibe Studios, i.e., creating the first logos for all the brands. The original website, vibestudios.net, which was actually really fun. I found old clips of that, old screenshots. He was an integral part, if not 51% responsible for the Scorn stories, which then would then turn into the original. Please don't watch them. Original web series ish, which is more like a compilation of mini trailers. So basically, what do you remember the origin story of how Vibe, and of course it was originally called Vibe Revolution Studios before I changed the to Revelation. I don't remember. I think it was from Matrix Revolutions. Don't judge me. Don't at me either. So what do you remember about the origins of this studio?
You know, I don't remember too much in regards to why you suddenly had a urge to start creating media videos
because the Christopher of over a decade ago just heard what I said and just dismissed it. Yeah, whatever. That's basically why he doesn't remember. It goes one ear and out the other. Basically, it was really funny.
But I still joined on.
I didn't say you didn't agree. I just said you heard it and you're like, you're here. When later? Okay, great. Leave me alone. That's why. But no. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, we both had a terrible.
Yeah.
We both had simultaneously awful trips with women that we really cared about. I mean, I'm talking about at the exact same time. Literally, I went on a cruise. He went to where you were, right? You went there. Your background, didn't you? California?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, look
And
at you. Look at that prophetic, prophetic.
That was not planned. Not planned. Oh
That's
man.
prophetic. Look at that. See, this is why we here for a friend with issues. So yeah, and we had terrible times. So we looked at each other. We wanted to write a book. We haven't written books in years.
Speak
So
for
we
yourself.
decided to we did, huh? Well,
Speak for
no,
yourself.
well together. I
Oh,
mean,
okay, yeah.
you know, we had the legacy, and then we had to split off the story, and then I stopped. So we decided to come to conjoin for an unfinished, unpublished book named Scorned, where based upon, inspired by these heartbreaks. And for some reason, when my heartbreak fully solidified, I said, okay, I want to turn this into a web series. I need to. So, and that's basically how, and because I needed to put it under, so it wasn't under our names. Because our biggest concern was what? Female backlash. Because in reality, Scorned wasn't a female bashing web series, but it was a female bashing web series. So we were concerned. So we decided to create that term. And of course, I used the old name that a friend of my ex gave me, threw in there with Revolution or Revelation, add studios, created a little mantra, and boom, that's where we are here now 10 years later. So it's been over 10 years. Yeah, it was 2010. January, February 2010 is when I took out that flip camera and said, let's go. Flip camera and Roxio. Would just cram two computers together and figure it out. So all right, well, now that I've did the background, go for it.
So continuing from there, of course, you know, I've looked back when I was thinking of, you know, coming on Friends with Issues. I look back and I say, yeah, let me go look at these old videos that we produce, anywhere from Scorned itself all the way to the animation channel, which, man, those are some good times and such.
Oh God, that was some good work. That was some of the animation channel. I'll be very clear. It's Vibra of Tunes, which is defunct now, and it's never coming back. Not because I don't want it to, but Go Animate isn't the same thing it was anymore. So you can't even go back to it like you would. All I can really do is remix the old stuff or stuff that was unpublished. So yeah, I did. I went back to Go Animate to see, hey, listen, maybe I could like find our old templates. Nope, Go Animate's not like that anymore. They just do business presentations now. That's it. Wow. So yeah, and it's not even called Go Animate anymore. It's called Volt something or whatever. It's terrible. So, but yeah, that was I have to say that was some of the greatest scripted material we ever created. It was a true collaboration. I did a lot of post production. Christopher would write it. He would do the basic animation, and then I would go in there and then clean it up and tweak the animation. I think the best collaboration we had was for high school days, because that's when I really started getting into writing. And I said, okay, well, I like this where it's going. Let me change some of the words. Let's make it a little collaborative. So yeah, that was the best. But it's not an issue. Carry on.
And then we got to the point, and it's somewhere along the lines there, that you started to do, I guess you'd say, side jobs.
Yes.
They weren't.
I call them collaborations, or non-internal work.
Yeah, and you know, you're working with all these different people, and I guess the biggest concern happened was like, you're doing all this for free.
Yes.
You're doing it for free. You're trying to, of course, naturally, you know, you're trying to build your brand. You're trying to build a
portfolio,
reputation, your portfolio, so that you could actually start branching out and start charging for these services. But it never happened.
Well, it never happened in whatever timetable you might have had. Remember, the Jason of old was not confident in his craft. He didn't have the equipment. He was with a flip camera. He only had just bought that.
No, flip camera. He had a big, beautiful camera. I remember that time.
But not originally. Definitely not originally. It took a couple of months.
Yeah, I'm going ahead. Like
yeah, but I started the side gigs before the big camera.
Correct, but the first side gig that I can remember,
right,
is the one that we went to this music video. I think the guy was shooting a music video, and you had the big camera.
Oh, that was Lyric Hill.
Yeah, and that was the first one that we technically got paid for, as in gas.
Yes, he paid for gas, and he did offer to let us go to something, but we didn't go. There was a party we were supposed to go to that we were gonna get, and it was gonna be like I think it was an after party for the music shoot. Because back then, what I would do is I wasn't the full DP. I would do the behind the scenes work for these artists, for Doxamillion, for Lyric Hill, for Miss Celebrity Miami. So Yeah, that's what it was. I don't remember the old clothes too.
And yeah, look, you just ran down all these different things, especially
Yeah,
Miss Celebrity in Miami.
that was some of the best collaborative work that I ever did.
I did,
Never got paid, but that's not the point.
and then that's where the divergence came, because I knew that you wanted to
Diversify,
be
I
a
was call
content.
it. Yes, exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, that a content creator. You didn't want to basically create other people's visions. You didn't want to do weddings. You didn't want to do
no, I
those
didn't.
kind of things. You didn't want to be a cameraman. You wanted to be a director.
Exactly. That is true. And I still say
And
that phrase to people. I'm not a videographer. I'm a director. I just happen to have a camera. Yeah.
and I know that, of course, I knew that back then that that's still where you wanted to go. But I felt that, before you can even get to that level, you need to build up your capital, build up your funds so you can build that studio that you wanted. So I wanted us to go the path of exactly that, doing the weddings, doing those side gigs where we would bring in some kind of money,
Correct.
build the studio, and then move on to, okay, well, let's start building the brand and start doing whatever it is,
Right.
the content that you wanted to do and such. And that was always that, like, since we never went in that direction,
Right.
and basically the animation thing was like a hobby. It was like, oh, okay, it's a
Well,
hobby,
yeah,
it's
the
something
animation
fun
thing.
to
It was
do.
a hobby, but it was also in response to the fact that um our live action people were unreliable. And I had also
Yeah,
just won that YouTube Creator Institute competition where I was going to be in
right.
California for what for months. And to keep
Mhm.
content going, we found this and said, okay, well, we're going to build this up. So at least we have content being
Right.
released. But can you imagine me being in California, going to University of Southern California, attending lectures, planning out a film shoot, and still editing content for my studio and setting it back for him to post and everything. It was crazy. I mean, crazy. But no, I get what you're trying to say. I get what you're trying to say. But my mindset at the time was the viral video. That's what it was. And all I had to do was find that viral. It was any project that sounded like it had potential. Journey to a Dream, Celebrity in Miami, Docs a Million, the Docs TV, Lyric Hill, Holidays. I can go on and on and on the side things that I've done. It's all in hopes of, because all I need to do is be the producer of that hit video, and that's it. So right now, I have one last old free client, one, because once you leave, that's it. It's Holidays, right? Been working with her for years, and she has decent views, a couple hundred, couple thousand sometimes. Mostly, some of them come from the ones that I edit. I edit like I edit her major long ones, not her mini ones, because I don't have time for the mini ones, and she can edit those. But it's like I'm saying, when I read through the comments, and she doesn't know this, I don't think, but I read through her comments of the episodes that I edit, and a lot of them are saying, "Wow, great intro! Wow, what did you edit this with? Wow, wow, wow!" So I'm like, yes, that's my point. And that if I can get that viral hit, this is mindset back then. Now YouTube is a piece of shit. Um, I always thought, if I could just get that right project, that right video, that right viral hit, they're gonna want to know who produced that, and boom, I'm gonna go. Why? Because at the time, there were those people. There was Annoying Orange, there was Fred, there was who there where they hit viral, and then guess what? Where'd they go? TV. Annoying Orange with the kid, Cartoon Network. Fred went to Nickelodeon. These people were getting on TV afterwards because streaming wasn't a thing yet. So I was like, yeah, that's all I gotta do is just I'll take on that gig. It has potential. I'll work my ass off. I will produce the best stuff. They'll produce it. It'll go hit. They'll find out who produced it and take me with them. You know what I'm saying? That's where my mind was, where you were on the business aspect of you need money to run this, not your money running it. So I get
Right.
it. So that's
Right.
where his ass began to itch, is where I was, and it's true, I was taking on more and more Tunnels All Radio as well. More and more pro bono gigs. I don't like to say free because it makes me feel sad. I call them pro bono, where I see the potential in somebody's thing, and I realize it, whether I'm filming it or doing post production. I've been doing both, and but yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So
And
maybe he was right, because I got nowhere with any of this shit.
another, and it was something that I thought about, like, throughout this actual year, because naturally, I'm working from home now because of the whole pandemic and everything.
Must be
So
nice.
I know.
Must be nice.
I know. But along with working from home, of course, I have YouTube on the side, listening to it, looking at it, whatever, to keep me occupied. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube the last year.
Holy crap.
And one of the things that I thought about, because I thought about Vibe Studios in the past, is we may have extended ourselves too broadly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like,
I'm the first one. I'm the first one to admit that I casted my nets in every pond, in puddles, in ponds, and seas, because my thing was something's gonna catch, something's gonna stick. You're absolutely right. I will be the first one to admit that I completely overextended myself. Instead of focusing on a brand and a topic, or maybe just focusing on Scorned or just animation, I decided to create 4 channels. Blogs, scripted, unscripted, reality, and still trying to take on the little side things, like he said, kids' birthday parties and other craps. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right about that.
The crazy part is, and I think about it because, of course, like I follow a guy like Philip DeFranco, where he focuses directly on news, follow these gaming channels that they focus directly on games, and et cetera, et cetera. But one of the biggest things that these YouTubers have to do is bring out constant content.
Correct.
And you were able to do that with 4 channels.
Yes.
4 channels had something popping up every few days, every day, every week, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Imagine where it would be.
If
one of the channels, whichever
exactly,
channel it was, everything was focused on that.
It
reminds me of the 101 days of Vibe Facts.
Oh yeah.
That's 101 days in a row that you brought out facts.
Yeah.
You edited, you did all that stuff. And you know, I the only reason I think about all these things more so is because somewhere along this pandemic, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel and do gaming, but no. And now Omar is trying to branch off and do a YouTube channel, trying to figure out whether he wants to do gaming, does he want to do fitness, or he wants to do I forget what the last one is, cars and stuff.
Okay.
And then, of course, we talked about age and all that stuff, and it's all these things just made me, of course, circle back to the itch in my ass about Vibe Studios and where Vibe Studios could be right now.
Yeah, should have been, exactly.
We were focused, and it's crazy because like I say, one of the guys that I follow is Philip Franco,
right? And
he does news, and I don't like where you are, where Vibe Studios is, or what they want to be. Phil DeFranco said that he didn't become viral for 10 years.
Yeah,
he took years before he built his brand, and now where he is now with millions of followers doing the news. It took time.
Right.
It took time
to find your voice.
Younger.
Correct.
Exactly. So it's like, it all these thoughts just pop up in my mind in regards to it, and it's just like, wow, how could have things changed if just one thing clicked within us back then?
You know what it is? Because if you remember the old way I used to describe the studio, it was a Brothers Grant Henriquez entertainment company. Oh, entertainment and production company. Because I saw Vibe Studios as like a channel. You turn on Fox, or you turn on, and there's different. There's comedy, there's genre. So because that's how I saw it. Once we satisfied the urge to do Scorned, and then of course after trying to actually build it up into a real series fell apart, I said, you know what? Vibe Studios is more than just Scorned. It is an entertainment brand. Meaning you'll tune in and you'll see everything. You'll see kids, you'll see animation, you'll see inappropriate stuff, you'll see adult stuff. So that's what happened, is that I always ever, and probably still to this day, I've only ever seen Vibe Studios as an entertainment network, a diverse collection of things. So you're right. Had Vibe Studios, or had we call it maybe something else instead of studios, had we not branched off into Sibling Rivals and Kid TV and Insolitus and White Lightning. Could you imagine that shit? How do you have a brand that then subdivides into 4 other brands? You know what I'm saying? And I had logos for I had logos for every freaking brand. But don't get me wrong now. White Lightning Studios did the video production. And Insolitus did webmaster. Kid TV was kids. Sibling Rivals was writing for between both of us. We broke it all down. But that was a nightmare when I look back at it. thinking about all the different logos and okay, well this show I wrote it through Vibe Studios, so it's Vibe Studios and Sibling Rivals. No, but this show I only filmed it, so it's Vibe Studios and White Lightning. But this show was all of it, so put all four of them in the, you know, we more so me made it needlessly complicated, and I was 1 foot in quicksand trying to run in place on doing it. So you're absolutely right. It's true. If I could go back in time, I would say, listen, focus on Scorned and stick with that. Definitely stick with that, because I mean that Scorned is what got me to California. Scorned is what got me to win that YouTube, the one and only YouTube Creator Institute. Then I had another one. Scorned is the most creative I've been on Vibe Studios. That was scripting, that was blocking, that was editing, that was fine acting from the brothers you see here on screen. Fine acting. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Now my ass is beginning to itch. Fuck.
It's funny. I disagree with you. I don't think Scorn would have been the appropriate one to pursue.
Not if we pivoted toward more comedy than just the melodrama, because we were pivoting toward comedy. The softer
Right.
side, the softer side of Scorned was me making fun of us, because we couldn't pull off drama to save our life. We just couldn't. I mean, all the bloopers was just us laughing at ourselves. Even when it wasn't us, you were filming the friends. It was just laughing. Eventually, you and I would have both come to the conclusion that Scorn should pivot to a tragic comedy. You know what I'm saying? And I think if it went that way, which it was headed in that direction before I just gave up on live action and life, it would have made it. It would have made it as a tragic comedy, as a heartwarming comedy.
It's not the content that I'm worried about. It's
Right.
the same issue that you said. Why we pivoted over to animation? We didn't have live actors.
We didn't have. Yeah, we didn't have. We had them, but we didn't. They weren't. They weren't
consistent.
reliable.
Yeah,
They weren't reliable. It was a bitch to get people to come over. It was a bitch to do all this. But that's the reality of it. That's the grind though of an indie content creator, an indie filmmaker. You gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. But eventually, I would have probably gone to those meetups. I'd have found other people. Remember, I went to one meetup where I met some people. I just didn't follow through with it. Eventually, if the grind was there, I would put out on Craigslist. At the time, Craigslist had a casting call area where you could just put out a casting call and do stuff like that. Look, you were around for Journey to a Dream. Those people, I mean, they sucked at promoting the show, but they were pretty much consistent. And how did Tommy Miranda get those people? He put it out on Craigslist. I would have seen that, and I'd have been like, there we go, put out on Craigslist. So it was there. The maybe not our friends, but people we went on with, if they believed in it and they were using it as part of their reel, and because we were ahead of our time when it comes to, because remember, YouTube back then was just, what's going on, guys? Hey, what's going on? And all right, follow me. Click. We had logos, we had intros, we had instrumentals. You know, we were ahead of our time production wise, very professional. Because I look back at that time, like nobody was really doing this kind of stuff back then, but nobody saw YouTube as reputable like that. So that's why they didn't care. You know what I'm saying? If they saw it as something like, wait, there's just talent here, they would have probably caught on. But back then, it was just nothing. You know, throwing it out there. No orange, didn't have no intro. Whatever, Fred didn't have any intro. It just popped up on screen. It's only after people started getting big. But by that time, you know, there was slowdowns. We pivoted to this and pivoted to that, and you know, so I get it. My ass is really itching now. Fuck.
I think animation
Studio sucks. I've come to that conclusion. The studio sucks. I'm done. I said,
animation was right. I think animation would have been the thing
if
that would have
we had voice actors. Look back at some of those comments that were just there.
Of course.
They couldn't stand the robot voices. And after a while, I got used to them. And
right.
dabbled in voice. But remember, back then I wasn't good at audio.
All right.
If you're doing it now, look at this setup. You don't even see what it is now. I have an audio studio built into the video production studio. It'd been better. Trust me. But back then we were talking into like a little mic that looked like this.
Right.
Fighting power. Like, I mean, that's what we were doing. And it sounded terrible. And I hated it. You love doing the voiceover because you did yours like weeks before I would do mine, I would make sure mine was the smallest amount. I would take your script and I'd say, I don't want to say any of this. I'll just say this right here because I hated it. I hated it. Audio wasn't my thing. You knew it. I couldn't clean up audio. I couldn't record audio. So we would hit the same roadblock because what do you need for animation? Good VO. You need people for VO.
But it's different for the fact that you could have worked with, say, for instance, it's like, hey, guy, make a recording of you saying this line. You could call them on the phone and you could work your magic with your audio while live action.
I had no magic with audio. That's the problem.
It would get to that point. But
you would hear
the
a hi and it's just hi and all you hear is shh in the background.
The fact of the matter is, despite that, up
Right.
until I forget what exactly the video was that you got 20,000 plus views, High School Days episode 1 was your highest viewed video.
Well, yeah,
And that had voices.
no, you can't use that because that was Vibe. No, that was Sibling Rivals, and that was because remember they said you needed to create a brand new Vibe. The YouTube channel Vibe Rev Studios came about because after we left YouTube Creator Institute, at the time they had a plan for us. I don't know whatever happened after they gave us our money and we bought it, and I bought a new computer with it. They needed to promote us, so they said you need to create a brand. Everybody needed to create a brand new channel. You need to create something what's called YouTube. I call that fuckery, but it's called YouTube. So I approached you and said, listen, Sibling Rivals, we do stupid shit and we put it out there. So the first episode of Sibling Rivals is a 20K because they put us on the homepage when YouTube had a homepage. So it wasn't because it was a hot video. It was because it was on the homepage. And that was the very last thing YouTube did for us before they said, who are you again? So no, seriously. I'm like, hey, you remember? No, I was one of the eight that you paid for me to go to UFC, you know, all the tens of thousands of dollars, give me a stipend, you give me $1,000 when no, where's Big Chen? He what? Okay, so you know, God, I wish it. I mean, I thought that was the ticket right there. When I won that competition, bro, we were in I mean, I'm telling you what they said they were gonna do for us. What they said they were gonna. YouTube has a premium now, and then there was YouTube Red and something else. They were gonna do that. They were gonna use us. The 8 of us and the 8 of the other ones, the 8 established and the 8 amateurs. We were the 8 amateurs, and we're gonna be the first 16 content creators creating premium content. Never happened, at least not for us. And it just disappeared. You know, I'm just like, what happened? You guys you made me feel so special and like, damn. So yeah, no, but I agree. Animation was the best. It was the highest views. It still is the highest views between for back then. Of all 4 channels, yeah, it's not the highest views. High School Days is the shit, views wise. High School Days was a really, 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 really good, compelling story that I had absolutely nothing to do with its creation at all. And I think I only did 2 contributions. I changed it from days DAYS to DAZE, and I did some script rewrites just so the narrative flowed a little bit better. That's the only thing I contributed to that animation series and post-production, but that doesn't count. To the creation of it. And it was funny because I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Let's change it to High School Days. Like, you know, you're in a daze. And I don't really like that. I don't really care. I already did the title. Moving on. So that's exactly what happened. But so High School Days, and when I put it down there based upon the stories of Christopher Grant here, because High School Days, DAYS, but I like DAZE. It was like, yeah, we're all in a daze in high school. Everything is the end of the world in high school. So yeah, I agree. Animation might have been it. But then what would have happened when GoAnimate dropped it? Dropped the creative.
If we wouldn't have stayed with
GoAnimate.
We would have used it for a while.
Okay.
We would have seen those comments about robot voices. Because just even with when we started to do season 2 for the Legacy.
Right.
I wanted to get rid of GoAnimate and actually start learning how to animate myself, because I watched one video that somebody did on GoAnimate and I was like, oh man, that's much better than our fight scenes. But I don't have the time to. I think you remember when I showed you, you'd see a fist and a hand come up and block, and it's just like a fist with nothing else, just a flying fist, and then the flying hand come out block, and it's all these things. And I tried to, and I was like, it's not good on Go Animate. So I would have pivoted and learned how to animate in whatever kind of suite I could find.
Do you even know how to draw?
Huh?
Can you even draw, bro?
Do anime people draw on the computer, or do they really just do some other crap?
They draw. They can do both, but I mean, you have to actually be able to know how to draw to then actually create animation. Like I don't know, man. I can't draw a stick figure to save my life. And if you ask me to draw a stick figure walking across a screen, whether it be on paper or on things, I'm terrible at that. We used to do flip books when we were a kid, and we'd do those draw things.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, those are great. But for my character would begin here, this, and then go over here, because I wasn't good at that. You know, it's like it looked like. So
were you good at video editing when you first started?
No, but video editing is a skill. It is a skill. It's a craft, but it's something that you can. You don't need to have innate talent to do that. I don't really know if somebody who has no talent for drawing can learn how to draw
easily. Trace and plagiarize characters.
And that is why we never won a single drawing competition ever, because we always use the tracing paper and traced it from a thing and sent it in. Remember back in the days they had those drawing competitions for Cartoon Network, and we would trace the hell out of it and be like, yeah, baby, send it in. We would never got a picture up there. I mean, what are we doing wrong? We're plagiarizing. That's what we're doing.
You know, one thing, I mean, you brought it up, but I'd be almost positive that it would go viral, and you should probably pursue it, is talk about the Creator Institution, because a lot of people probably don't know about that.
Nobody knows about that crap.
And if you YouTube gets a lot of slack because of the monetization, ad revolution or adpocalypse that they had in the past, and whatever's on now. I don't know anything too intricate about it other than what Philip DeFranco or any of the other people say about it and such. But something like that, like, you just have to put the right tags on it, and I'm sure that would.
We used to say that all the time. Remember, you awkwardly shoved in a lightsaber in the first episode of The Legacy, and you said, there you go, I put a lightsaber. You can tag Star Wars and lightsabers in it. Remember back then?
Did you do that?
Yeah, I did do that, and it didn't do anything. Because remember, one of the first things that I was taught when I came over from YouTube Creator Institute was you have to be relevant, and you have to make your content, but be able to add things in so you can tag it properly. So when I told you that, you said, sure, I got you. Very first scene, we're talking, and he's like, yeah, I did a lightsaber, and I was just like, that's so on the nose, but okay, carry on. I'm gonna type Star Wars lightsaber FML. So
the worst thing with that too is, along with that, they needed to also say whatever unrelated things that you want to tag so that it can relate to others has to be
in the video.
It has to be pretty much viral then.
Yes.
Like, if we put there you go, trending. If we put a lightsaber in it when episodes 7, 8, and 9 were coming out, okay, maybe people would have watched it.
No, but I think Star Wars had the Clone Wars going on, wasn't it? And that was the hit. Yeah, 10 years ago, Star Wars deployed. There was a hit. There was a reason why you put Star Wars. I didn't do that. You did it.
I know, but
you thought that for some reason that was trending. That was popping. So something was going on in 2010, 2011, 2012 with Star Wars, and I think it was the Clone Wars, and it was getting hot. So you threw that in there. But I don't know. There's a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas when it comes to not having your ass itch about this studio that I'm officially canceling after this episode is done. But yeah. I see that. I see it. Maybe it's lessons I can learn for the next 10 years. No, it's not gonna happen. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
40.
Huh?
You're getting closer to 40.
I'm already pushing 40, and I'm not gonna be that guy on YouTube anymore going, hey guys, what's going on? Yes. No, I can't do this anymore. This is podcasting though is pretty fun. I will admit that. The only reason why I record the videos, I throw it up there and say, let me edit it and put it on YouTube. Podcasting is fun. Podcasting is easy. You know what? And I've only been podcasting for this 2 years. This is relatively new, and I was like drag kicking and screaming to learn it. Had I known that audio editing was so much easier than video editing, oh my god, or that it was I mean, I guess I probably did know it was easier. I just hated it because you want to hear it crisp. But my God, it was great. Absolutely great. So great. Absolutely great. Podcasting will last. Video production is over. So that's it for Vibe Studios. No, we stop. So anything else about the studio makes your ass itch before we wrap it up?
I don't like. I've watched many of your videos that you've put out and the different topics that you had. Do you think that you're more focused now?
Absolutely not. No, I'm still reaching for the stars. If I was more focused now, I wouldn't have Keeping Up with the Geek Bros, Friends with Issues, Last of the Nice Guys. You know, no, absolutely not. There's no focus on because I'm still in the back of my mind. I'm still saying, if this one isn't working, we'll just try another one. That's not working. Let's try another one, and something's got to stick. So no, I haven't learned that lesson. And you can see with podcasting at that point. Oh, and by the way, yeah, of course I learned that lesson. Then there was Crazy Curls on the Go. Then there was or Urban Eye, and then there was From Bacon to Beans. 3 podcasts that I pro bono produced for these for people that I knew. Not only did they not pay me, I didn't ask, but they eventually just dropped it. And I'm talking about when I say produced, I mean they would either come to my house and record it, or I would do the post production. I did their logos. I did their promo videos. I did their motion logos. I put together their video recaps, hoping that would go further. All 3 series. You can actually see them there. If you go to vibestudios.com, you go to podcast tab, and then you go to previous podcasts, you'll see. And there was some good stuff. From Making the Beans was a vegan podcast. It was great. Urban Eye was urban podcast. It was great. Crazy Curls on the Go was urban podcast. It was great. But you know, when a talent, and mind you, they're not paying me. It's all free. It's being done. It's my time, my effort. You think you'd want to continue, but I guess not. All 3 of them went. All 3 of them. So am I focused now? No, only because part of me has lost the hope that this is going to go anywhere beyond just a hobby. It's gone. It's been too long. So I don't see that happening anymore. But I've been doing this so long, I kind of can't stop. In a weird way, it's like, okay, well, when you get home, you work on these videos, you post them, you market them, you have your teams, you whatever. If you just stopped tomorrow, what would you do? What would you do? I mean, I still have a little bit of time to play video games. I still have a little bit of time to go on social media, and it's enough for me. All that extra time, the question I ask myself is, what would you do? And then I look at the kitchen and I look at the knives. I'm like, nope, go back to the studio. So no, it's I'm continuing. I still. Oh God, I'm only half serious. Oh, anyway, but no, I look at it. I was like, this is a lot of work that I do, and to stop this, what I know, even though I'm feeling like this is pretty much, I wouldn't say it's worthless, but it's no longer as fulfilling as it used to be. The passion is pretty much gone. It's more like well, I do it, so I'm just doing it. I don't know what else that I would do. So, and I think that's the reason why I'm not focused as much anymore, because YouTube is no longer a viable solution. The 2 TV deals that I almost had both fell through. The one TV deal that I did have, I got stiffed on it, completely stiffed on it. And meaning I created all the content, it was airing on TV and I never got paid for it. And I'll never forget that. That was a lesson to be learned. So, you know, when you get stories like this, when you get people who are stiffing you, when you get people who are using you and abusing you, when you have people that are coming in, using your services, when you put all the time in, they're just giving up on their own project. When you have people who are involved in these projects, whether it's yours or theirs, and don't even take the time to promote it themselves, you're like, wow, why are you still doing this? And then of course, you know, you look at the kitchen and the knives. So you're stuck in a weird place. So to answer your question is no. There's no focus because I don't have a goal anymore for this studio. There is no, I'm going to be a Hollywood movie director someday. No, that's gone. There is no, I'm going to turn this into a self-sufficient business that brings in money. No, that's gone. So what am I doing? I am living through what I'm doing. This is it, kind of thing. And I'm just having a good time about it. I'm using it as a bridge because let's look at it this way. Without this studio, a lot of the friendship groups that I have would have dissolved, especially during the COVID time when we couldn't see each other. But because we all knew at least once a week we got to get on this Zoom and laugh with each other, the friendship stayed strong. And I can say that I've kept 3 core groups of friends together because we got to get on this camera and we have to talk to each other, and we don't have the ability to filter away because we got to do a show together. We got to come over and film. We got to, so at the very least, it's a good way to keep friends together. How about that? Friends forever. There's your answer. My ass is itching. Okay, thank you very much. Hopefully this is the first and last topic in this 10-part, 15-part series of A Friend with Issues that does not make my ass itch. You're supposed to come in and talk about your ass itching and what's grinding your gears. Now my studio's grinding my gears. I'm going to throw something after this interview. So what were you saying?
Mission accomplished.
Damn you. Well done. Well done. Final thoughts before we wrap up this session of A Friend with Issues. Why Vibe Studios makes my ass itch. See? Title. Look at that. Titles. I get these titles out of nowhere.
It's awesome. Hopefully this goes viral and someone picks you up.
This isn't going anywhere. But it's good. It sounds good though, right?
Yeah, it does.
Final thoughts.
Vibe Revolution Studios.
Well, that's awful. That's awful. All right, and that's it for Vibe Presents A Friend with Issues. Christopher, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on and reminding me why the studio existed and the golden era, and realizing that I'm in a dark age again. But other than that, it was fun. And remember, folks, listen to everything, but believe only what you can prove.
Got something to say? Email friendswithissues@gmail.com. This is an audio production of Vibe Revelation Studios, the cure for your common day. VibeRevStudios.com.